Alright, in this video I want to tell you the story about the girl whose phone number I got on Christmas 2020 and what happened after that. So, it all began on Christmas Day 2020, a very odd Christmas day, the temporary abnormal as I called it. I began by loading up the gifts I'd gotten for some relatives and driving over there to have a more normal and relaxed Christmas day with those relatives compared to what my parents and siblings were going to do with, I guess, just dropping off the presents really quickly, saying hi, and then going home. Yeah, it was a very rainy day, if I recall. This was back when I drove, and I drove all the way through that to get there to have a somewhat normal Christmas with my aunt, uncles, and cousins. Because this was before I started using Amazon to just send out everybody's presents. This year I had to skip it with, what was it? The aunt, uncle, and cousins who live together because they have no place to keep them this year before Christmas, so I have to actually bring them over this time. Thankfully, I was able to send them out to everyone else just in case anything else goes wrong, and for those who live out of state that I have never seen on Christmas Day. Again, it's just because they're out of state. Or if I have seen them on Christmas Day, it hasn't been for a long time. Anyway, getting back to this story, I had the very normal-ish, close enough to normal Christmas. I actually got this lawn chair I'm sitting on as a Christmas present from one of my uncles that day. So, to that uncle, if you're watching, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I drove home. I think it was a little less rainy by then. It was still pretty warm out. I remember that much because it was really warm out when the last time before that Christmas had fallen on a Friday. So I hung out at home for a bit, and then I went back out to go to the movie theater for the first ever time on Christmas Day. See, I'd always known that it was open on Christmas Day. I just never went there until that particular Christmas because, well, I thought I'd have a little more time on account of the fact that the temporary abnormal was distorting things. Not to mention, I really wanted to support the movie theater at the time because I was scared that it might go out of business because of the whole pandemic thing. Obviously, that hasn't happened. I just came back from there today, but I decided I wanted to have some extra fun. So I went to the little studio restaurant and I got my burger and fries and soda. And while I was there, I noticed this girl who was talking to one of my old co-workers about having not been able to go back to her home state, which I'm not gonna specify here. Let's call it, we'll call her Mississippi. So anyway, I struck up a conversation with Mississippi because she was there to see Wonder Woman 1984, which I was going to see the next day. That night I was seeing Promising Young Woman. We talked, went well, and then when it was time for her movie, I still had a little extra time. I asked if I could get her phone number so I could find out how it was. She gave it to me, and I was very overjoyed. So I sent a little confirmation text, and then after I saw Wonder Woman 1984 the following day, and I actually liked it at first because I'm a big sucker for Gal Gadot as an actress, at least as Wonder Woman and her Fast and Furious character. I told her that I liked it, and then I invited her out for hot cocoa, which happened to fall on my 24th birthday. We hung out again and went very well, and we had to have masks and some degree of social distancing, obviously, though she did hug me at the end of our little hot cocoa date. Though, really, I should have. The first red flag that it wasn't going to last as a dating thing is because she didn't even try for a kiss and patted me on the back when she hugged me, which I know that's the friend zone thing. But I was a little too happy at the time. I told some of my friends from the movie theater about it when I went in there to pick up some popcorn to bring home for watching Dr. No. That was the beginning of my year-long watch through of all the Bond movies leading up to No Time to Die, but the story of how I realized it's basically just the same movie over and over again. I went full Jesse Pinkman, being like, "You can't keep getting away with this!" Is a story for another day. So 3 days later, I tried seeing if she wanted to go out again. She told me that she hadn't been feeling well and had gone to get tested for COVID and tested negative, thankfully, because I would have had to get tested myself at that time. Yeah, this was still January of 2021, so pretty early in the, still a ways off from when all the restrictions were lifted. So I would occasionally chat with Mississippi every now and then, most prominently during the release window of Zack Snyder's Justice League when that was put out on HBO Max. We had a nice talk about it, and then about a month later, I was finally able to see her in person again. I was able to see her for like 10 minutes after a shift at the instant gratification job when she had come from something related to her internship slash job in relation to what she was doing for school, because she was still in college because she was like 2 years younger than me, and we had a nice little chat and such before she left for good, and that was it. She said something about going on to grad school with a friend that she was really close with at a different college that shall remain nameless. But that being said, it was nice to get to know Mississippi, as I'm calling her, and I learned a few things from the experience. One, the back pat during a hug is a major friend zone flag. And two, if it doesn't happen, if you don't get together after a certain amount of time in terms of seeing each other again, it's probably not going to go anywhere. Honestly, I respect her decision to move on from me too, because I can only imagine what would have happened long term if anything about drinking, smoking, or drugs came up and I had to draw a red line in terms of that. Well, I'm just going to leave it there for the video. Comment down below what you think about this story and whether I should have read The Room sooner with Mississippi, or if the COVID times were a bad time for asking women out. So, thanks for watching. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe for more like this, and I'll see you soon.